We have a guy on a $200 million contract and the head coach at open odds with each other. It's not in the shadows anymore. It's now wide out into the open. That is what NBA insider Brian Windhorst said about the Paolo Banchero, Jamal Mosley feud in Orlando. There's something brewing here.
He's not a very efficient creator, but you can give him like some of the leeway because once again, the Rocket spacing is fine. So it's going to be hard to be a creator in that situation. But when you're not that efficient as a creator, but you also can't play without the offense running through you, I think you inherently put a cap on how effective your team can be offensively.
The NBA's brightest young stars are suddenly looking like shadows of themselves this season. What looked like guaranteed stardom has turned into a league-wide wake-up call for several franchises. These 6 players in their prime have no injuries or age to blame, making their ranking plunges downright shocking. The Ringer has been publishing updated player rankings all season long, giving everyone a clear window into how each athlete's overall value rises or falls based on real performance, not just hype. You can literally watch someone's stock climb or crash week after week, and this year, the crashes have been brutal. For context, some guys have soared. Victor Wembanyama started preseason as a top 6 talent and sits at number 3 right now, while Kawhi Leonard leaped from 20th all the way into the top 7. Those jumps feel exciting because they match what fans hope for. The opposite story, though, is the one that leaves people stunned. Established players whose numbers and impact have tanked so hard that entire teams are feeling the pain. Take Ja Morant as the clearest example of a massive drop. He slid from 34th in the rankings all the way to 85th, a 51-spot free fall that actually puts him 20 places behind Josh Giddey. That kind of tumble would normally be headline news, but at least people can point to years of injuries piling up and explain why his explosiveness isn't what it used to be. The same goes for other big names whose declines come with obvious reasons attached. A separate group of players has dealt with serious injuries that limited them to just a handful of games, like Anthony Davis, Tyler Herro, and even Jalen Williams, who went from scoring 40 points in a finals game to barely seeing the court. Ja himself fits partly into that injury conversation too, along with Trae Young, even if fans wonder if more than just health is at play. You get it, their bodies simply did not cooperate, so the ranking drops make sense even if they still hurt their teams.
Y'all know Cat is not a good post player, right? Like it always ends in an offensive foul or a wild drive.
He's 17th percentile in post-up efficiency this year.
Would that have anything to do with me not really understanding exactly what I'm supposed to do in the offense? 1, or 2, having to rush because I haven't touched the ball in 3 or 4 trips, so I got to get something going. Otherwise, I'm not going to see the ball again, so I end up rushing.
Then there is the age factor, which always looms over veterans. Everyone wonders when the great ones will finally slow down, and this season might be giving us the answer for a couple of future Hall of Famers. LeBron James fell from 11th to 25th, despite still averaging 22.7 rebounds and shooting 50% from the field. His 3-point percentage dipped to just 30%, but the real problem shows up when you look at team chemistry. Whenever LeBron shares the court with Austin Reeves, the Lakers' offense ranks as one of the worst in the entire league. Take LeBron off the floor and suddenly everything flows much better. At this stage, it raises tough questions about whether he needs to retire or find a completely different situation to keep contributing at a high level. Draymond Green tells a similar story of quiet decline. For years, he was known as the ultimate glue guy who did all the little things: defense, passing, toughness, even if his scoring numbers looked ordinary. This season, the numbers tell a harsher truth. The Warriors actually perform better in net rating, which measures how much better a team scores than its opponents when Draymond sits on the bench. That has never happened before in his career. Sure, he can still lock in during big moments and run perfect pick and rolls with Stephen Curry, but at 36 years old, the overall decline feels permanent. Those stories carry explanations that fans can understand. Injuries happen, fathers of the game get older. What nobody can explain away, though, is the group of 6 young, healthy players sitting squarely in their prime who have fallen off cliffs with no visible reason. These are the truly shocking cases because their teams built entire futures around them. Their bodies are fine. Their age is on their side, yet their production, confidence, and overall value have crumbled so badly that franchises are now scrambling to figure out what went wrong. Start with the young Houston Rockets core, where 3 of these 6 disappointments play together and drag the whole group down. Alperen Sengun was supposed to be the franchise center who kept improving every year. Instead, he dropped 10 spots in the rankings with zero progress in the areas that matter most. He still refuses to shoot 3-pointers at any meaningful volume, which kills spacing for everyone else on the court. Basically, teammates have no room to drive or cut because defenders can just clog the paint. His touch around the rim has vanished too, turning easy finishes into misses, and on defense, he has become what players call a traffic cone. Opponents drive right past him and score at will. It got so bad that Kevin Durant's burner account reportedly called it out, saying a franchise player who cannot shoot or defend creates way bigger problems than anyone else's turnovers. Sengun's numbers have not grown at all, and that stagnation in year 3 or 4 of his career feels like a red flag that maybe he has already hit his ceiling. His teammate Thompson fell the exact same 10 spots, but his story stings even more because because everyone expected a huge leap forward. The Rockets tried converting him into a point guard this season, handing him the ball to run the offense. What they discovered is that skill simply is not in his bag yet. The spacing around him became terrible because defenses knew he could not punish them from outside. Even worse, the part of his game that used to shine brightest, his defense, actually took a step backward. Amen was supposed to be a two-way star who could guard anybody and create plays. Instead, the experiment exposed limitations that nobody saw coming. The Rockets basically admitted they forced a role on him that did not fit, but the damage to his development and the team's chemistry is already done. Tari Eason rounds out the Rockets trio with a 22-spot plunge that feels especially confusing. He is still knocking down 55% of his corner three-pointers, which should be a strength. The bigger issue seems tied to the team's lack of a steady point guard after Fred VanVleet got hurt. Without someone to set up plays, Eason's role got messy and his overall impact dipped. You can point to minor injuries as part of it, but even then the drop looks bigger than expected for a guy who was billed as a versatile wing who could do everything at an elite level. Throw in Jabari Smith Jr., who slid all the way to 97th, and suddenly the entire young Rockets foundation looks shaky. What was supposed to be their year to take the next big step forward has instead become a cautionary tale about how fast promise can stall. Karl-Anthony Towns suffered his own 14-spot drop, sliding from 17th to 31st, and the numbers back up the disappointment. Last season was the best of his career, so maybe some regression was natural, but this year went beyond that. From day one, he looked lost in new coach Mike Brown's system. The result, the fewest shot attempts of his career, his lowest points per game since he was a rookie, and three-point shooting that ranks near the bottom of his own standards. Towns built his reputation as a stretch big man who could score from anywhere and stretch the floor for teammates. If that skill disappears, what exactly does he bring? His value craters, and it is no surprise rumors swirled about the Timberwolves trying to trade him for a superstar like Giannis Antetokounmpo. At this point, Minnesota fans have to wonder if Towns will ever regain that all-star consistency, or if this season marks the start of a permanent slide. Paolo Banchero's fall might be the most franchise-altering of the bunch. He tumbled from 19th all the way to 42nd, a 23-spot nosedive that turned the Orlando Magic's supposed cornerstone into a question mark. 19th overall is the kind of ranking you build a team around. The same neighborhood as proven stars like Scotty Barnes or Devin Booker. 42nd overall is solid role player territory. The Magic traded away 4 first-round picks to get Desmond Bane because they believe Banchero was that 19th ranked franchise player. His bread and butter mid-range shot, the elbow jumpers and post moves that made him look like Carmelo Anthony 2.0 has completely abandoned him. He now ranks near the very bottom of the league in mid-range efficiency. Without that scoring touch, his whole identity as a big-bodied creator evaporates. For most of the season, people were writing him off completely. Only in the final stretch has he heated up and started playing like his old self again, but those few good weeks cannot erase months of mediocrity. The bigger fear is whether this is the beginning of a pattern we have seen before. Young stars like Ja Morant or Zion Williamson who rise fast then plateau or fall, or will he push through like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Austin Reeves? Right now, the trajectory looks troubling, and if the drop is real, Orlando's entire timeline gets thrown off. The single biggest no-excuse collapse belongs to Dyson Daniels, who plummeted from 49th to 84th, a staggering 35-spot dive at just 23 years old with a clean bill of health. Last season, he exploded onto the scene with a historic defensive year. He nearly won Defensive Player of the Year, beating out Evan Mobley in some voters' minds, and he took home Most Improved Player honors. That pushed him into elite role player territory alongside guys like Aaron Gordon and Stephon Castle. Everyone saw 2 defining traits: lockdown defense and absolutely horrific three-point shooting. The defense is still elite. He remains one of the best on-ball stoppers in the league, but the shooting is so bad you could find better accuracy at a local YMCA pickup game. He does other things well, becoming one of just 2 guards in the league with at least 300 rebounds and 300 assists alongside Luka Doncic. Yet if a player cannot consistently put the ball in the basket from beyond a few feet, his ceiling stays low no matter how good the defense is. That limitation was hidden during last year's breakout because the hype covered it up. Now everyone sees it clearly, and the Hawks' investment in him as a cornerstone piece suddenly looks risky. He has shown flashes of improvement in the last few games, but the overall season exposed that last year's leap might have been more mirage than reality. These 6 cases hit harder because they come without the usual safety nets. No major injuries, no advanced age, just prime years slipping away while fans and front offices watch rankings tumble in real time. The Rockets now face spacing nightmares and stalled development across their young core. Minnesota must decide if Towns still fits their timeline. Orlando's big gamble on Banchero could reshape their entire future. Atlanta has to hope Daniels finds a way to shoot at even average levels before his defensive gifts get wasted. In each situation, the disappointment runs deeper than stats. It threatens the very identity these players and their teams built. Basketball development is never guaranteed to be linear, but watching 6 talented guys in their physical primes fall this far, this fast serves as a brutal reminder that potential can vanish quicker than anyone expects. The Ringer rankings simply held up the mirror, and what they showed this season is impossible to ignore.